Alright, what's going on, everybody? So, the official Toonami Facebook page announced yesterday that The Promised Neverland Season 2 was going to be coming to Toonami on April 10th. Now, here's the new schedule starting April 10th. We have Dragon Ball Super at 12 o'clock, like normal. We have 12:30. We have Attack on Titan season, the final season. We have at 1 o'clock, we have Food Wars, the third plate. At 1:30, we'll have The Promised Neverland. At 2 o'clock, we'll have Fire Force. At 2:30, we have Black Clover. At 3 o'clock, we have Naruto Shippuden. And at 3:30, we have Demon Slayer. So here's what I think about the schedule, and then I'll kind of talk a little bit about The Promised Neverland being on the lineup. So as far as the schedule goes, I don't get the reasoning as to why they put The Promised Neverland at 1:30. This is a show. This is a new season of a show. I would think that you would put that at least at least to where, honestly, I think you should really just put that at 12. Well, I think it would have been better if they would have put The Promised Neverland either at 12 o'clock or at 1 o'clock. Now, maybe Food Wars actually gets them a lot of views, and maybe that's why they did that. But I would think that The Promised Neverland would rack in, would bring in a lot of viewers, since it is the newer season. Even though, and we'll get into this in a second. A lot of people have kind of turned against the show, and we'll kind of get into that in a second. But I do think, as far as this lineup, I think that this is a really strong lineup. I may not like Attack on Titan or Dragon Ball Super or Food Wars, but I can say this, that those shows are going to bring in, well, shouldn't say going to, they always bring in a lot of views. And the fact that the final season of Attack on Titan is still airing in Japan, and like this stuff, the fact that we're actually getting a dub for The Promised Neverland so soon, and the fact that we got the dub for Attack on Titan final season so soon, like, we take this for granted, us, the anime fans. Like, we take this for granted that yeah, we're getting these dubs so quickly, so it's really good that Toonami has gotten these shows, at this time period. But like I said, I think that The Promised Neverland should have been at 12 o'clock. I know Dragon Ball Z is just a show that can really bring in a lot of people, especially Dragon Ball Super. Regardless of how, regardless of the quality, people gravitate toward Dragon Ball. People love watching Dragon Ball Z. They love those characters. So, like, I get it, because at 12 o'clock, that's like your first show. That's your lead-in show. And Dragon Ball Super is very mainstream. So something like The Promised Neverland isn't as mainstream as a Dragon Ball Super. So, like, that's why, like, I understand why Dragon Ball Super, like, I understand why they possibly put Dragon Ball Super and Attack on Titan as their two lead-in shows. Because here's the thing, regardless of how I think about the quality of those shows are very mainstream, very popular. Those are like gateway drug shows. So yeah, I totally can kind of get why they put those shows at 12 o'clock and 12:30. But like I said, I think The Promised Neverland should have been bumped up. I really think Food Wars. I think people would, if Food Wars is really that big of a show, I think they could have just put it at 2 o'clock because I think, like, Fire Force and Black Clover, I would think that those shows, like, I would think that Black Clover and Fire Force are a lot bigger than Food Wars. So I would think that those shows would need to be bumped up. I still don't know why Naruto Shippuden is still up here. I'm actually kind of surprised. I'm like, yo, who's still watching that? No, like, no shade or anything, but it's like, who's still watching Naruto Shippuden? Then again, they tried to bring Boruto onto this thing, but that didn't work out. But anyway, going on, kind of talking about The Promised Neverland season 2, because I said I was going to get to this. So apparently, pretty much a large portion of the fan base has turned against this second season, because, and this is mostly manga readers from what I gather. essentially what has happened with season two is that they cut a major arc that I've heard compared. I've heard people make this comparison that it's essentially it's the equivalent of Naruto cutting the Chunin exams. Like it's that major of an arc. And while I can't speak to the quality of this arc, and I'll probably end up saying something like this, something similar to this if I ever get to doing uh, a review on season two. But in my personal opinion, as an anime only fan, I've actually really been enjoying this season. It's actually been kind of good to me, but then again, I'm someone who hasn't read the manga, so I don't really have, like, I can't really make that comparison. Like, from what I can tell, it's been really good. Now, I don't know if there are some things in there that they kind of screwed up on, outside of them cutting that major arc. But, I can't really say that this show is complete garbage because that's kind of the sentiment that I'm getting from a lot of people. It's like, oh man, this show's garbage now. This show's trash. And like, this is one of the very few shows that I actually, and I've always said that I hate when people use this term, but this is one of those few shows where like, after I finished the first season, I'm like, yeah, this is a certified masterpiece. So you guys are telling me because they cut out one major arc that this show is just utter trash. Like I don't necessarily agree with this sort of mentality that certain people have, where it's like, oh well, it's not one to one like the manga, therefore it sucks. Because if we're really gonna take that stance on things, then I guess you can say the original Full Metal Alchemist, the original Shaman King, the original Soul Eater, those shows suck because they didn't follow the manga completely, and I don't really agree with that notion. Like, I'll have to wait until, because we have, I think, two or three more episodes of of the season left, so I'll have to wait until everything is over, and then I'll end up probably doing a review for the second season, and then maybe I'll go back and actually read the manga, and then maybe my opinion might change. But that's just my 2 cents on things. Like, the moment the moment where I realized like people had like turned on the show, because like I was kind of out of the loop at first, and then because I was really thinking everybody was enjoying the show, everybody was vibing with the show, and then all of a sudden I get online and I'm like, yo, what is going on? Why are people getting so upset about this? And then like come to find out they like cut the major arc. Now, like I said, and let me just repeat this again. I haven't read the manga, and I don't really like. I haven't really read too far into what a lot of the criticisms are. Outside of them cutting the manga. I don't know if there's some things. Like I said, I don't know if there's some things that they really messed up on in the anime outside of them cutting that major arc. But yeah, that's just kind of my 2 cents on things. But yeah, the Promised Neverland coming on Toonami April 10th. Going to be watching the English dub, definitely. And yeah, I'm personally excited to actually get to see this in English, so that way I don't have to spend a lot of my time, reading the subtitles and everything, because that's definitely been kind of a challenge for me, because I actually prefer my anime dubbed anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm out of here. Peace.